Hey everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete, and this is a new series I'm starting on this channel. A really good friend of mine, Carlin Cook, who also has a YouTube channel, a link will be in the description, he had this great idea to do a collaboration together. We're going to start with 1980 and go through the entire decade of the 80s, looking at all the horror movies released each year. And we're each going to select some horror movie superlatives. The categories we're going to be selecting are Most Amazing, So Bad It's Good, WTF, Best Gore, Most Unique, and Most Underrated. We don't know what the other person is going to pick, and we're going to be using the same list to select from, and that list will definitely be down in the description below. So we're going to release these videos every Wednesday, and after we both release these videos, Carlin is going to put up a poll on his channel, and we need everybody who watches these videos to go over to his channel and vote on who they think had the better selections, myself, Uncle Pete, or my good friend Carlin. And after we cover the entire decade, this is a competition, the winner is going to select a movie for the other person to choose on their channel. So if I win, I'll select a movie for Carlin to review on his channel. And if Carlin wins, he's going to select a movie for me to do Nails in the Coffin on. So this is going to be really fun. Carlin and I are really good friends, and I'm looking forward to this collaboration. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it. So let's get down to it. And these are all some horror movie superlatives for 1980. All right, my selection for the most amazing horror movie that was released in 1980 is The Shining.
Here's Johnny!
What hasn't been said about this movie? It's just one of the best horror movies ever made. Not even that just came out in 1980. It's one of the best horror movies ever made. Stanley Kubrick, Jack Nicholson, his performance, the cinematography, the sound design, the score, the attention to detail that Stanley Kubrick put in all of these scene shots, the tension that it builds. This movie is on many, many people's list for greatest horror movie of all time. So this one was really easy for me to select the most amazing horror movie that came out in 1980. My selection for 1980, So Bad It's Good, is Island Claws. This is a cheesy B movie about giant killer crabs, and it is a lot of fun. Now, yeah, there are many movies about giant killer animals, and this is just like the rest of them. But this one is played serious, it's earnest, and it's actually a lot of fun. The effects are pretty good, and the story is pretty solid. It's basically what you're going to get when you say it's a movie about giant killer crabs terrorizing a small town. If that's what you're looking for, that's what you're going to get. The giant killer crab looks really good at the end. Too bad it didn't always work, but this movie is definitely worth a watch, especially when you compare it to all the other movies that came out in 1980. This movie definitely deserves the title, So Bad It's Good. My selection for 1980's WTF movie, Humanoids from the Deep. Roger Corman movie, and when you hear the name Roger Corman, you can pretty much match that name with WTF. The movie's about a large company using experimental growth hormones at a cannery. They're using it on the salmon to make the salmon grow bigger, but the salmon escape and then they're eaten by large fish. These large fish mutate into humanoids from the deep. Very excessive violent movie and excessive with the sexual assault because these humanoids from the deep attack this small town and they just kill all the men. It's a very violent movie, and they sexually assault all the women they can find. And it's one of those movies when you're watching it, you actually say to yourself, WTF is going on? And it's not a bad movie. It's just, very excessive with some things, and it definitely deserving of the title, WTF. My selection for 1980's Best Gore goes to Maniac. What other can I say other than Tom Savini? When you hear the name Tom Savini and Best Gore in the same sentence, it's pretty common right there. He was a combat photographer in Vietnam, and he uses all those horrors that he actually had to witness. He uses them with his practical effects, and you can see that they are as close to realistic as one could only imagine. He also worked on Friday the 13th in 1980, but I think that Maniac had just a little bit better gore, namely for the shotgun to the head scene. When you hear about practical effects in the early 80s, you're going to see this scene. It's been played many, many times to show what practical effects can actually look like. And this movie had very, very solid gore, especially for 1980. And it just goes to show, you know, what an icon Tom Savini is with practical effects. So that's why I chose Maniac as my selection for Best Gore in 1980. My selection as the most unique horror movie that came in 1980, Cannibal Holocaust. Widely known as the first found footage horror movie, and it's also known as one of the most controversial horror movies that was ever released. When people first saw this film, they thought it was a snuff film and not just a movie. The director was arrested on obscenity charges and actually charged with murder in Italy because people thought it was a real movie till he actually had to show that the actors were alive. No one had ever seen any movie like this prior to 1980, in the horror genre. It's definitely controversial with actual animal killings in it. And that controversy is why this movie was so unique, as well as it being, the first found footage horror movie. So I definitely think this movie deserves the title of the most unique horror movie to come out in 1980. And finally, my selection for the most underrated horror movie to come out in 1980, Death Ship. It's got a fun cast. We have George Kennedy, Richard Crenna. They play outgoing and incoming commanding officers on a cruise liner. This cruise liner is underway at night, and they see this other ship on a collision course with them, the Death Ship. They collide, and almost everybody on this cruise liner dies, except for a small group of people who are floating on some debris in the ocean. The next morning, they actually make it on board the Death Ship, and the ship starts killing everybody one by one. We come to find out this Death Ship is actually a Nazi Holocaust ship. Now, when you watch a movie, you want to be scared, you want to be horrified, you want to be unsettled, and with a lot of the imagery in this movie, it makes you feel that way. It makes you feel uncomfortable to watch it, when you almost have to tell yourself, hey, it's only a movie. And that's what this movie does, especially for me when I watched it. And it's worth a watch, but it is unsettling with some of the stuff you're going to witness. But I think it definitely deserves the title of most underrated horror movie to come out in 1980. Now, I might be just a little bit biased because I am, in fact, a retired Master Chief Petty Officer serving 22 years in the Navy. I retired in 2017, and I might be just a little bit biased because this movie is about people underway on board of a ship. But I imagine even if I wasn't a Navy veteran, I probably still would have selected this movie as the most underrated horror movie to come out in 1980. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are my picks for 1980s horror movie superlatives. So let's have a summary. Most amazing, I selected The Shining. So bad it's good, Island Claws. WTF movie, Humanoids from the Deep. The best gore movie, Maniac. The most unique, Cannibal Holocaust. And finally, the most underrated, Death Ship. Thank you for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. Now, please go to Carlin Cook's channel if you haven't already and watch his video on the same year. And as I said earlier, he's going to have a poll up for everybody to vote on who they thought had their better picks. Did I have the better picks or did he? And we're going to be covering the entire decade. And like I said, this is a contest, and the winner is going to select another movie for the other person to, cover on their channel. So hope you guys vote for me, but I just want you to vote for who you actually thought had their better picks. And if you haven't already, I would love if you subscribe to this channel, and please subscribe to his channel as well. He's got some really great videos, and he's a really great guy. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you for checking out this video. Thank you. Everybody, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay safe. Stay happy. Stay healthy. I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember, with great kills, there must also come great nails.